Hello students. Haven't changed your minds about becoming great programmers yet? Well then, let's continue. In today's lesson, we will add the latest, but not the least important, bonus to the game. We will add dynamite to destroy all enemies on the screen. And as always, we need to first organize the appearance of the box on the screen. To do this, go to the box spawn branch and at the spawn of the last box named box explodes. Connect it sequentially with the other blocks. Don't forget to include random coordinates and enter the correct object name, box explodes. Select the box with dynamite and in the object properties, change the value of the bonus type variable to explodes. Now we need the box activate branch. Copy the last chain, place it below, as always connect it to the false channel from the previous condition. Don't forget to connect the current bonus name to the variable and to the object deletion. Also change the compared value to explodes in the first orange frame. Similarly, you need to change the value of the weapon type variable to explodes. And to top it off, let's change the labels in the frames. Here's what we've got. When the spacebar is pressed, if we have a box of dynamite in our inventory, we then switch our weapon to explode. We remove the box from the inventory, and after the timer, we switch the weapon back to the pistol. Let's adjust the timer. We don't need a 6-second delay for the explosion. Half a second will be enough here. Within this half second, all the enemies on the screen will have a 100% guarantee to meet their ancestors. Now, let's find the branch where we remove enemies from the screen. It's called enemy collision. Currently, enemies are only removed upon collision with bullets. Let's add another reason for this wonderful event. Let's create a simple check. If the weapon type variable for the player object is equal to explode. If the condition passes the check, then the true channel will be activated. To this, we will attach the remove object block. Leave the object field empty. Then, each enemy will remove itself if it hears a boom. It's time to check what we've achieved. Let's launch the game, find a dynamite box, and place it in the inventory. Wait a bit to accumulate more clowns on the screen. Press the spacebar, and once again, we see a clean scene. If everything is working, then we move on. Enemies shouldn't just disappear at the press of the spacebar. We need an explosion that we can see. And even better, here. I've added a file with animation to the assets folder. The link is in the lesson description. In the tilesheets folder, there is the file we need, named Big Explode. Find the project folder on your disk. If you've done everything correctly, it should contain a folder named Assets. So, copy the folder named Tilesheets into the Assets folder. Now, there will be two folders there: Textures and Tilesheets. Let's go back to the scene and add a simple plane. Move it aside and name it Big Explodes. In the right panel, set the dimensions to 14 by 14 and immediately apply the scale. Open the shader editor. Create a material for the plane with the same name. Replace the shader with the Armor PBR shader. Drag the image named Big Explodes and connect it to the new shader. Connect the color channel to the base color input. We connect the alpha channel to the opacity input. This channel functions as a regular black and white mask. Using this mask, we will make the object transparent in the necessary areas, specifically, in all areas with black color. To ensure the alpha channel is considered, we need to go to the material properties and switch the blend mode option to alpha clip mode. Set emission to 1. So, we now have a complete tile sheet on the screen, where we can see 25 frames of animation. If we play them sequentially, from left to right, top to bottom, we get an explosion animation. Now, let's move on to the configuration. Step number 1, add the tile sheet to the project. To do this, in the Material Properties scroll down, find the Armor tile sheet section. Click the plus sign to add a new one. Immediately change the name to Big Explose. Set the dimensions to 5 by 5. You can set the animation speed to 20 frames per second. In the action window, add a new action. We will have only one action, so give it the same name, Big Explose. Now we need to set the start and end of the action. Since our tile has 25 frames, and all of them will participate in this one action, we set the entire range of frames from 0 to 24. The explosion animation will not be looped, so we don't need the loop checkbox. But that's not all. Let's move on to step 2. We added the tile sheet to the project, and it will be stored somewhere in the RAM after the game loads. However, we can't use it yet because no object is associated with it. Right now, it's just a static texture. Select the plane and go to the UV Editing tab. Our task is to reduce the unwrapping to the size of one frame. The dumbest thing you can come up with here is to select the island and scale it by eye. Then move it to the desired place. The right place is the first frame, meaning the top left corner. But this is not the path of a perfectionist. Therefore, let's spend some time in this window and learn the basics. First, if we scale the island now using the S key, it will scale relative to its center of mass. As a result, we'll get a square in the center of the tile. So, switch the transformation pivot to 2D cursor. Now scaling occurs relative to the bottom left corner. Let's simply move the 2D cursor upward. To do this, in the right panel of the UV Editing window, go to the View tab, where you can find the 2D cursor section with two parameters. We currently need the Y parameter. Change the value to 1, and the cursor will move to the desired position. 1 doesn't represent a specific number of pixels or centimeters. In the UV unwrapping tile, 1 signifies 100% of the size. So, if we need to set the cursor in the center of the tile, we need the value 0.5 for both axes. Now our 2D cursor is in the top left corner with coordinates 0, 1. And now, we can scale the unwrapping correctly. Secondly, if we scale the unwrapping by eye, its size won't be perfectly accurate. So, let's first determine the numbers. Our unwrapping currently has a scale value of 1. The grid of our tile is 5 by 5. This means we need to scale the unwrapping exactly 5 times in both axes. To do this, select everything, press S, 0.2, and enter. Done. Now we need to link this animation to the object. Go back to the layout. Select the plane with the explosion, and in the Object Properties, find the Armor Props section. In the Tilesheet field, choose from the list our only tilesheet named Big Explose. In the Appeared Action field, choose from the list the only action with the same name. And since we're here, let's disable the object's default spawn by unchecking the box. Now everything is ready for the animation. All that's left is to spawn the explosion immediately after activating the dynamite box. To do this, go back to the Logic Node editor, open the Box Activate branch. In the last chain, right after checking the condition, Add a spawn object by name block. Specify the scene and the object big explodes. Add a transform block and set the coordinates to the center of the screen. Zeros on the x-axis and the y-axis. Z-axis needs to have a value of 1.1 to ensure the explosion appears above all other objects. Now let's create a new logic branch named BigExplose and link it to the BigExplose object. In this branch, we need only 3 blocks. On init, play tie sheet, and remove object. Leave the object fields empty in the remove object block. In the play tie sheet block, specify the action name, BigExplose. Also, note that the object will be removed not immediately after the start of the animation, but after its completion. Therefore, connect the remove object block to the done channel. This channel will trigger once after the animation is complete. Now you can run the game and see this beauty. Grab the dynamite box, press the spacebar, and enjoy the explosion. In the future, we will add sound and camera shake to this event, but for now, let's take a break. Goodbye for now.